Hi there, thank you for joining Empower Your Mindful Athlete program. So for the past 5 weeks, we've been working on different sessions that tune us inward into our professional athlete world, into our weekend warrior, or perhaps a retired athletic world. We're tuning into our inner athlete to help embody mindfulness. Do you remember what mindfulness is? Mindfulness is being aware of the present moment. Oftentimes, thoughts or situations or a game, competition, coaches, people in the stands, or a situation on and off the playing field of life distract us, affect us, influence us in a different way. So to tune into mindfulness and to the moment can help to empower our being, empower our performance, empower our life. So I invite you to check into the previous week sessions if this is the first one that you're tuning into. And we've been moving into and through different practices of connecting deep within, of balancing the physical, the mental, emotional, energetic being that we are, and going through different strength and endurance and muscular workouts, as well as foam rolling, myofascial release. So all of that is included in the previous sessions and in this program. So I invite you to explore, to take time and make the time for you to empower your mindful athlete. So thank you for joining. And today's session, we'll be moving into and through a slow opening yoga session. Now, yoga, the word yoga means union. It means connection. So creating a different or a united relationship within your own self, to listen if any creaks or sorenesses or pain or possible injuries are arising one time or repetitively. So being able to take care of ourselves. So following last week's myofascial release, foam rolling, and trigger point release session, we'll be moving into and through a slow, nourishing yoga session. So thank you for joining. And at this time, if you want to pause the video or join and grab a block, you can also use books. You can also use cushions or pillows. Blocks help to lift the level of the floor a little bit higher. So in deeper shapes and deeper poses, we can actually soften instead of gripping and holding on and shortening of breath. So I invite you to find something that helps to bring the ground higher, as well as you can sit on it, or different things we're going to be propping ourselves up for. So allowing the hips, allowing the release of the low back or shoulders, whatever body part we may be focusing on. I also invite you to grab a strap, a stretching strap. Perhaps you can use a long tube sock or a towel or a rag, something that feels good to you. Just again, this helps to lengthen our arms, our extremities when we may not be able to reach a point. We can utilize a strap. So go ahead, I'll give you a couple moments to grab that or pause the video and join us in a comfortable seated shape. So whatever that looks like to you. Perhaps you sit on your sit bones, legs are crossed. Maybe we tuck our knees under and we sit onto the heels or onto the bum. Wherever feels good to you. I personally like to sit in a cross-legged shape in the beginning of our session to help ground and connect all layers of my being while beginning to open up through my hips. I have really tight hips, hip flexors from an anterior pelvic tilt, so supporting that structure, allowing my tailbone to roll under and the hips to begin to release is something that helps me. So I invite you to sit onto a block or a cushion if that's also your case. So as we tune in to this comfortable seated shape, and what that looks like for you, we will begin to turn our mindfulness deeper into this moment. So I invite you to close your eyes, to seal your eyelids, to begin to turn your gaze inward, removing the outside sights, distractions, or things in the now. Just simply seal your lids. And let us begin to take our awareness, the attention, to the very tips of our toes. Inviting each and every toe to relax and to soften, to let go. Inviting the feet, the arches of the feet, the ankles to relax. The lower legs to let go, calves to melt away from the bones. The knees maybe become heavy and sink downward towards the earth, towards the ground. And the thighs become heavy. I invite you to take that attention to the hips, allowing them to soften. Navel slightly engages to lengthen the lower back. Tuning into this inner structure of your bones, stacking one vertebrae of your spine on top of the other. Softening the muscles. Allow the belly to release. The back muscles to soften. The shoulders to become heavy. The arms lengthening away from your ears. Resting on the thighs, palms faced up or down. I invite you to tuck your chin slightly to lengthen the back of your neck. But then release the jaws, unclenching them. Perhaps feel a slight openness through the throat, through your airways. Allow the tongue to melt away from the roof of your mouth, your face to be heavy. Feel a slight lift through the top of your head. And just scan this entire physical shape that you are. Rising up through the crown of your head and rooting down through the tailbones, the sit bones, through the legs, and just feeling this structure. Trusting this structure that you have been blessed with all the muscles and everything just melted away. I invite you to begin to bring your mindfulness to your breath. This fresh oxygen, our prana, the life force energy that we are given, helps us so much in our performance, training, games, and in overall life. So tuning into this breath, and your inhalations, feel your belly open up, big, like a pouch belly. Feel the ribs lift and expand. Feel your chest rise. So for our breath, we'll be breathing into these 3 compartment spaces. If it feels good to you to place your hand on your belly and on your chest to feel this breath, go ahead and do so. But fill up, breathe in, expanding your belly, ribs and heart. And on your exhale, allow it to release, slowly lower down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to slow it down. So connecting with your breath, again, mindfulness of the breath is huge for any athlete. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, release. Inhale to fill up. And if it feels good to you, open your mouth and let it go. Let tension go. Let extra heat go. Connecting within the mindfulness of your own being. And throughout our practice, thoughts and feelings may come in and out as we go. Maybe questions or interesting different ways that you have or have not done this practice before. I invite you to return to your breath. Breathe into the spaces of tension and spaces that we might hold a little bit longer. Without judgment, just be aware of what comes up. Any feels, any uncomfortability. And I invite you to return to your breath. If you do come across any pain or tension of muscles or tendons, then listen to that as well and find a shift. Nurture yourself. Let us take another deep inhale and open mouth exhale. And then gently blink our eyes back open, returning to this space. Hi there. And we'll begin to mindfully move and just open up through the hips, through the sit bones. So much of our core and our hips, we do so much movement in this area. So I invite you to switch the crossing of your legs as if they were crossed. Or if you're seated onto your heels or a chair, go ahead and come on down and find a cross-legged position. We'll start with a few rolls. So we're going to inhale forward. Exhale to your left. Gently press down onto your right thigh. And pause there. Maybe a little rock forward and back just to explore that space. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, move backwards. So we're going to hold the front of our knees or thighs and really round through our spine and our back. Tuck our navel in, pull our belly in. Exhale, come to center. Inhale, exhale to your right. Gently again pressing onto that left thigh. Just beginning to open up spaces through the hips. Inhaling and then exhale, center. Switching directions, inhale, center. Exhale to your right. Gently pressing onto that left thigh. Again, maybe a little shift forward and back. Inhale, exhale backwards, rounding through the spine, the back. Exhale to the opposite side. Just exploring. Maybe one side is a little tighter than the other. Just noticing. Inhaling and exhaling forward. This time forward, walk your hands out. And then allow your belly to come towards your thighs. Maybe you rest onto your elbows and place your hands onto your forehead. Maybe you can lower your arms down and rest your head onto your hand. Maybe we can extend the arms and rest our head onto the floor. Wherever you are, just breathe into the spaces. No rushing, no reaching or forcing, but softening, slowing it down to nourish. Exhale, slowly roll on up. So now that we've nourished and lubricated the hips just a little bit, let's lengthen the legs out in front of us. Give our toes a little wiggle. Maybe roll the ankles around and just being mindful of our little bitty joints. All these stabilizer muscles that do so much. So we'll go ahead and grab our strap, our long tube sock, whatever feels good to you, whatever it was that you found, and roll onto our back. Aiming to bring the strap into your right foot, the bottom of your right arch. Lengthening the right leg. And again, just allowing the arms to be released. Somewhere down the strap. So we're not yanking our neck up, but rather just relaxing. Arms are long. And I like to rub the strap along the bottom of my foot. A nice little foot massage or exfoliation. And then placing it on the ball of the foot, which is right underneath of the toes on the big ball mound of your foot. Allow just a slight pulling back, so our foot is more flexed but relaxed. And feel the lengthening through the back of your leg. Being mindful to have a nice long leg, so if we're really bent, release the strap and tension, let it relax. For restorative yoga session, slow, nourishing, let us just return back to those deep intentional inhales and exhales. And anytime tension comes up, exhale to release. So we will hold each shape for a few moments, settling in. Letting go. And then with the straps in our hands, just utilizing the arms to make little circular movements. We'll go clockwise for a couple, and then counterclockwise. Again, feeling, breathing into the hip space, the right leg. And then just rocking it a little side to side, slowly opening the range of motion. So oftentimes slower than we want to go. And then passing the strap over to your right hand. Left hand comes to your left hip, keeping the hip and the low back on the ground as you open up your right leg. So we're going to be opening up through the groin, opening up through our adductor, the inner thigh. And left hand places onto the hip so we don't rock over onto our side. If we're feeling extra tension, just again release the strap from the hand to let it be a little bit longer. If we need To increase the stretch, maybe we walk the hand up the strap to increase a little bit more of this opening. We all are going to look and feel differently here. Again, we're looking for a feel of tension but releasing at the same time. No pain, no twinging at the muscles or the joints. A couple of breaths here. And on your next exhale, engage your navel, protecting the hips and back, and bring that right leg up to neutral. Pass the strap over to your opposite hand, left hand. And we're just going to invite the right leg to come across your body. So not a big spinal twist where we turn the hips up. Just allow the leg to come across. So we feel this deep opening. This stretch into the outer right hip. Left toes can be up at the sky, the ceiling. Maybe relax a little. I like to also massage myself a little, give a little rub. This is also good if you joined in with our myofascial release session in the trigger point ball that I shared with you. You can also roll that around the hip joint. This is a great one to help open up and loosen up through the hips and the low back. So much running, pounding, diving, jumping, sitting, standing, traveling that we do in our life. So taking care and nourishing the hips. The low back, inviting it to relax and soften. Option to place your right hand out wide and then look over the right shoulder for just a little twist. Releasing the outside of that right hip and then slowly bringing it back up to the ceiling, to the sky, bending the opposite left knee up. And then we release the strap. Bend the right knee open as you place the ankle onto the knee. So here, crossing in a figure 4 shape, allowing the ankle to be supported, not the foot as it opens and messes up the ankle joint and knee, puts pressure. So allow the ankle and then flex the foot. So protecting the knee by flexing the foot here in our figure 4 stretch. Maybe we stay here, that's enough. Exhale the left leg up, reach through the hole, grab a hold of the left thigh. Maybe again we use our strap to wrap it around our opposite foot or thigh if this is too much for you. And just breathe in. Flex and point the right foot. Maybe even roll the left ankle around. And then keep your right foot flexed. Exhale, pull in just a little bit more. Slowly release the legs, lengthen them to the sky. Again, legs up the wall or legs up in opposite direction as we've discussed before in our program. Allowing and inviting the blood to flow back down through the legs to circulate through the heart to cleanse, purify, to be renewed. Allow the right leg to go long and the left leg to be into your chest. With your strap or your homemade strap, bring the around the left foot. Give yourself a little foot massage, a little foot exfoliation. And then allow the strap to be right above the arch, right on the ball of the foot below the toes. And flex to pull the left foot back. Find length and space into the back of your left leg. Shoulders and arms can be relaxed. Wherever you may be, breathe space and ease. And walking the hands up the strap, left hand closer to your left foot, right hand onto your right hip. Exhale the left leg open towards the floor. Keeping the right hip down. Breathe into the spaces through the left groin, abductor. Relaxing into these shapes, inviting in space and ease. Couple deep breaths, and when you are ready, engage your navel, exhale, and let's bring that left leg back on up. Let's make a few circles clockwise and counterclockwise. Breathing into the hip. And then passing the strap over to your right hand. Just a gentle crossing over. Again, hips staying down at a big spinal twist, and then that left hand can rub and love the left hip, our low back, glute, opening up around that hip joint. Option to bring that left arm long to gaze over your left, or just a gentle twist. Again, being mindful of our movement and nourishing, not overdoing it. Today in this session is a day to ease, release, lengthening the muscles. So longer muscles are stronger muscles. And maybe reduce this tension off of our joints, helping to reduce this risk of injury, taking the time to nourish, to fill up with this breath, oxygenating our system. And engage the navel, slowly rising that leg back on up, and then bending the right leg up, left leg comes over, figure four stretch. Remember, flexing that left foot now. Spine long and straight, and then exhale the right leg up. Again, just exploring. Maybe one side is a little bit different than the other. It's all good. Most of us do have one side that's different than the other. If we have a dominant side or repetitive movements and motions in our day-to-day activities or sport or job. So being mindful and just noticing. Flexing, pointing that left foot, maybe both feet. And then maintaining that left foot flex to protect the knee. Exhale, pull the right in just a little bit more for a little bit deeper stretch. Exhale, both legs again to the sky. Bringing them up. Inviting that lactic acid, tension, tightness, soreness, toxins, inflammation to be moved downward and outward through the heart to cleanse. And bringing the knees into the chest. Let's give a little rock side to side, a little gentle massage of the low back. And then we'll rock forward and back. Gentle massage of your back. And let us end in a seated position. Roll ourselves forward onto all fours as we move into the front, the thigh. So we'll bring our right foot forward. So our right foot's going to come forward. The left knee shimmies back. And first we'll find just a low lunge. So back leg long, and then pull the navel in instead of just allowing ourselves to pouch out. Engage the navel to protect your lower back. Either drop the toes or flex. Flex gives us just a little bit more of a stretch and opening, especially through the back of the leg and the foot. Shortening and then lengthening the calf. Breathing here. Maybe bending deeper into that leg. And then slowly begin to walk your hands down. So we'll walk our hands down to frame that right foot. Just take a moment to pause. Then bringing the hands inside of your right foot, walk that right foot out just a little bit. Maybe we stay here. Maybe we bring our block, cushion, pillow to any of the sizes and height that we might need to eventually lower ourselves down. Deepening our runner's lunge, opening up through the hip flexor. And just finding where we are today and resting there, breathing into that space. And as we breathe, just invite yourself to let go a little bit more. To let your belly, your chest, your head hang down. Maybe supporting the neck. Just feel the opening. Again, if it gets super uneasy or uncomfortable, just work yourself back out a little bit. And we'll just have one more deep intentional inhale and deep intentional exhale here. Slowly walk your hands up. Allow the knee to open. Maybe press open a little bit as you turn your chest towards the thigh. And then helping it to come inward, place your hands down and heel toe that right foot underneath of your body. Flex the foot again to protect the knee. And then allow yourself to drop down. Hips are going to be facing the surface. Hips are going to be facing the floor. Look back. Is your back left leg even with your hips? So if it's thick and way out here, let us just walk it in line with our hip and settle in. Maybe we stay here. All good. Shoulders roll back. Find where you can relax and breathe into this space. Maybe the hands walk outward or underneath of us, finding that cushion, block, or pillow. And we'll be here for just a few deep breaths. So this is our pigeon pose. where we invite this deeper opening through the outside of our hip, our glutes, our low back. Allow the lengthening from the toes of the back leg through the crown of your head. And in your time, just settle in for, again, a few breaths here. Again, this is where our mind chatter, our thoughts, our active brain waves, or our fight or flight mechanisms may begin to speak a little louder. So I invite you to return to your breath, the mindful connection of this moment. Inhaling and exhaling that tension, exhaling extra heat. Let's just take a couple more breaths here. Again, maybe giving ourselves a little extra love or nourishing, breathing in and out. Embodying stillness as much as we can. Letting it go. One more deep intentional inhale and deep intentional exhale. Let us slowly begin to walk ourselves back up, mindful of our knees, our joints, tucking our back toes, shifting ourselves forward. And then bringing that bottom leg underneath of us, giving our hip a little wiggle, a little openness. Maybe even shifting back and down into our down dog. Hips wiggle, knees bend. And then I invite you to roll yourself forward, back onto the knees, and then stepping our opposite foot forward. Getting back onto that back leg. Rising to our crescent lunge. Again, option for that back foot to be up, flexed, or down, or maybe flow through both. Engage the navel, find length in our back, front hip flexor, thigh, even into the abdominals. Deep into our piriformis. Keeping space and ease here. And then beginning to walk our hands down. Taking a moment here, framing that front left foot. And then hands walking to the inside of that left foot. Maybe a little wiggle as you slowly make your way down, whatever that looks like to you. Relaxing the head and neck, maybe even supporting it. Softening in with your breaths. Exhale to release tension. Just honoring where you are. Tuning into the mindfulness, the connection, the awareness of your being, your shape. Each side, again, may be a bit different. We all look and feel a little bit different here. So one more deep intentional inhale. And exhale, slowly walk yourself up and then allow that left leg to come open, maybe even pressing it open, chest turning towards the thigh. And then inviting it up to come back inward. As you frame that foot, slowly walk the foot across the body. Foot is flexed, lower down onto the hips. Look back, check it out. Make sure we're nice and even in that back long leg. Hips are facing the ground, the surface beneath you. And with your exhale, allow your belly to come down towards the ground. Maybe you can put some pillows underneath of it, blocks or cushions. Lengthen through the crown of your head. And support yourself wherever you may be. Breathe into the hip. Exhaling, releasing the tension, and again, if it feels good to you, to maybe give yourself a little bit of extra love, massage, and care on this side, this leg, opening up through the thigh. A couple more breaths here to soften and relax into this space. Just aware of what comes up and into the mind, into your breaths. A shape. Inhale that space and ease. Exhale tension for a couple more intentional breaths. And on your next exhalation, slowly rise. Walking the back leg up, releasing our pigeon leg, maybe loosening up through the hips and the knees, maybe again pressing ourselves up and back, bicycling our legs, wiggling our hips, and slowly coming down to the knees. This time our knees are going to be really wide, feet together as we sit back into our child's pose. So our child's pose helps us to open up the hips, whereas before we rested in our embryo pose. So now we come down, belly and chest towards the ground, and arms can be long. And just rest here, breathe into all that space and openness into the hips and the low back that we just created. And then slowly roll up, rising back up, knees come underneath of your body. Find a nice comfortable seated shape. Again, if that's onto your blocks, your cushion, your pillows. So closing out our practice, this gentle restorative and opening session. We'll end exactly how we began, in our seated shape. I invite you after the video or in your own time again to lay with your legs up against the wall, on a cushion or a block, just elevating them to continue the release for about 10 to 20 minutes to help flush out anything extra to release, and just feeling the lightness in the lower body. For now, together, let's tune back in mindfully Once you've found this seated shape that feels good to you or where you first began, I invite you to again close your eyes. Tune in, lengthening up through the crown of your head. Rooting back down through the sit bones, connecting with the breath, inhales and exhales. I invite you to continuously deliver your breaths of intention to any spaces of tightness, discomfort, uneasiness. The power of this nourishing intention holds a greater benefit than what we may even realize. Honoring yourself in this nourishing practice with remembrance to slow down, to take and make the time for you. Bringing your hands to your heart center, gently bowing the head in gratitude, to honor again yourself for showing up to your practice, to embody and empower your mindful athlete. And bow in gratitude, thank you for joining me, rubbing the bases of my palms together, placing them over my eyes, blinking them back open. Thank you so much for joining. Remember to make and take the time for you to slow down, change your pace, connect with your breath. And I promise to you that you will continue to be stronger from the inside out. Thank you so much for joining. Tune in next week as we empower our mindful athlete and turn it up a notch, as we do more of a power flow to strengthen and lengthen and maybe sweat a little more. So thank you so much for joining. Happy Empower Your Mindful Athlete Day. And ciao for now.